Subscription fees apply.
Investing involves risk. 3% match requires goal for 1 year from first match. Must keep IRA for 5 years. Match on transfers subject to additional terms and conditions. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC.
I'm Mike with Jail Chaplains. We believe no inmate walks alone. Right now, there are hundreds of broken men and women sitting in the Cass County Jail looking for hope. We know that hope is found in Jesus Christ. He is transforming lives and setting people free through Jail Chaplains. You can give hope behind bars this Giving Hearts Day with a gift to Jail Chaplains, which will be matched up to $100,000. Please consider making your gift today through February 8th at jailchaplains.com.
This is Weather and Ag in Focus with Bridgette Readel, Justin Storm, and Dean Wysocki.
Welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday afternoon. It's 1:06 right now, February 1st, but I don't know. I think it feels more like a late March 31st maybe. I don't know about you, Bridgette, but the weather here is absolutely gorgeous, and in fact, another record has hit the dust.
You know, I'll be honest with you. As I look around right now, and granted, I'm in Florida for National Cattlemen's Beef Association's trade show and annual meeting, and the weather here is almost as good as at home.
Yeah, what is it down there?
Easily pushing upper 60s, low 70s today, so it's a nice day. But I'll be honest, there is so much going on. I haven't been outdoors in several hours, so I think the sun is shining, though. Hard to say.
I'll tell you what, it's shining really bright today. The skies are a beautiful shade of blue. There's a few upper-level clouds out there. Even a couple of suspicious contrails up in the sky from some airplanes flying overhead.
Is there more today?
Oh, I said contrail, Dean. That's totally different.
Oh, there's two. There's two right
yep, there was an airplane that flew over there. There's actually an airplane right there that's flying on the horizon. It's a little tiny twin prop flying up I-29 right now.
Spraying
you
anything?
Just never know what might be happening.
No cons on that one. That one is actively gliding through the sky.
We set another record today, Bridgette, already. It's 1 o'clock, and we set another record high today.
But didn't we break like some mystical, magical number of highs recently, Dean?
No.
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh, I was thinking that we have been just busting all these temperature, low snowfall records, mega days with fog. I figured we were winning in all of those.
Well,
I didn't know there was a mega fog.
It's a Stephen King movie.
Is that on the right side of the country or the left side?
That'd be on the right. We have had, actually, before today, 19 records between November and December and January. Unbelievable. And now we add another one to that to start off February. I mean, this has just been an incredible winter. And, you know, I hope we all can take this in, soak it up, because we're probably going to look back on this next winter and say, oh, man, I wish we could have that back.
That's the truth right there.
Man.
Global warming's not doing us a solid right now.
It's not?
I don't know. You said it wasn't going to be like this next year.
It won't.
So there you go. Global warming's not doing us a solid right now. It's going to get cold next year. You heard it first. February 1st.
February 1st.
February 1st. Yes. Yeah, our old record was 45 degrees set back in 1931. This was a long-lasting record. It's 46 right now, and it feels like 46. And it's getting warmer.
We might poke up another degree or so. But
yeah, once these upper-level clouds hit in, we'll kind of cap those temperatures where they're at. But regardless, that is beautiful. Okay,
so besides what it looks like today, how long is that going to last? I mean, are we going to see some kind of a cool spell? Give me a 4-week outlook on the LRC, you guys, where we're going to be going with this.
Mid-month onward, it gets much colder.
Okay.
Yeah, and by that, it's probably below normal, at or below normal temperatures, and by then we'll have average temps in the low 20s. So we'll probably be close to that or a little below that as we head towards mid-month. And remember that Christmas storm. And we need this to hit us.
Yes.
Okay, because that brought us all the rain. That brought us 3 inches of rain, and unfortunately brought the ice out to our west. That's kind of that's the storm. Each time that comes through the cycle, each cycle needs to bring us the moisture, and it looks like that's set for late. That's set for late next week, and then that will be back towards the end of March. So those are two, especially the March one. That's where we really need to get the moisture in here in the form of rain, and it very well maybe rain this time. We're going to be 50 degrees next week before this storm arrives. So, yeah.
I'm just not prepared for 50 degrees. I know that sounds really weird, but it's supposed to be winter. Oh, well, Here we are.
This might pose a problem for the old agronomy on ice, although,
it ain't happening.
So questions are being asked about that. I will tell you that as of earlier this week on Sunday, Monday, they were sitting on 22 inches of ice in the area in which we would be doing agronomy on ice. Okay. We had talked to Woodland Resort daily to make sure that ice conditions, and it's not so much once you're out on the ice, but things like the approaches, the embankments getting on and off the lake and making sure things are good there. So we will continue to watch that and have updates, because Woodland Resorts wants to make sure that everybody's safety is first and foremost in mind, and we will continue to do that. We always have a backup plan if we need it.
Well, there's the question. If you are at 22 a week ago, what are you at now? What are they saying?
Right. I don't know what that would look like today. My understanding was they've been pretty solid so far. I don't know what it looks like yet because, well, I'm in Florida. I guess I haven't been out drilling holes yet.
Right. And what's it going to look like a week from now? I mean,
right. We'll see. Mm-hmm. But okay, speaking of I'm in Florida, you guys, the things that I get to see and do down here are outrageous. Okay, so I'm looking at all my notes. We're going to be getting this guy on very soon as a guest. This is a plastic composite. It's a recycled material fence post that they're taking, like all these water bottles that people are carrying around and whatnot, and creating those into fence posts that could last a lifetime. We're going to talk to this guy down the road. Then I am ever so proud to say thank you to Hyundai for letting me use their payloader. I'm in it now. I get to sit in this operation all afternoon. Who doesn't love big equipment, right? So this thing has a Cummins engine. It has a scale system on it. So if you're feeding cattle with this, you can weigh out rations on the scale system, which is on board of this machine. Lifetime warranty on center pins. They have the best warranty in the industry when it comes to payloaders because they have roadside service on it. It's very easy to work on, so it is farmer and rancher friendly. It has ZF axles and power shift transmission. This thing is so cool. I was hoping they let me drive it out tomorrow when the trade show ends. I don't know.
Just drive it
home.
We'll
see.
Just do it.
Well, then I'll see you in like a couple of weeks if I'm driving at home.
Yeah.
Just get out of that. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, let me just say, when you walk up to an equipment company and say, hi, I'd like to do my radio show from your tractor, there's a whole lot of, you want to do what? But it's been great. And
I'll mention your
so
brand.
Many
just
people.
let me do it.
Kind of how it is.
Right
so
ahead.
Let me see if I can flip my camera around for you guys. I wonder what that looks like if I try it. If I flip my video around for you, I'm going to go to the reverse camera on this. It doesn't want to let me do it, but I was going to say I want to show you the view if I can. I'll snap some photos of it, but I would show you the view of where I'm sitting.
You got your iPad, don't
it's
you?
Cool. I do, so I just got to get it flipped around.
Just physically turn it.
I could. Okay, it's wires, headphones.
Wow, if you got all that
stuff,
don't worry about it. We don't need to make a mess.
Can you see? How's that look, guys?
It looks like a good view.
That's a good crowd.
A good amount of people there.
It's a great crowd.
Now honk the horn and
really
wave.
well.
Now honk the horn.
Move your hand side to side. Get out of my way. I'm coming through here.
Yeah.
I'm
Step
driving
aside, people.
here.
I'm driving this thing.
I'm driving here.
And just producers that are here from all over the country. I have run into a number of folks from our home state of North Dakota as well as South Dakota, Minnesota, and it has been just wonderful to listen and visit with those folks, ask them about their snowfall, rainfall, production situations. So great information while I'm here. Been good.
Sounds like a great time.
I guess Jacob got an email. That's a Hyundai that you're talking about, Bridgette?
Yeah, this is a Hyundai. Yeah, I mean, in fact, tomorrow they're going to let me sit in their skid steer, which is a tracked skid steer. That'll be a little tighter fitting, but maybe they'll let me drive the skid steer out.
Those skid steers are fun to drive. I used to pop wheelies on them back in the day. Company I worked for didn't find it that entertaining, but when no one was looking, I saw them doing it too. So take the bucket off and pop some wheelies.
Well, it is. And to that listener who wanted to know for sure that this was a Hyundai, it is not only a Hyundai, it is the HL 955 AXT. Doesn't that sound aggressive?
We have another
Tim.
special.
Tim, is that you?
That is. We have a special guest coming on today, Bridgette.
We do, and I am excited. I'm always excited about the guests we have. And today we're going to have Hannah Peterson with us. Hannah is with North Dakota State University. She is part of a program that NDSU is putting on through the Extension Service called Stop the Bleed. And they want to make sure that this is exposed to all of those in rural areas because this is important first aid information. We have far too many farm accidents. One is too many. And we want to talk to Hannah about the program offering that she's doing, all of those types of things. Tomorrow, I'm going to see who else we line up for guests because I might just have to pull people out of the crowd. Wonder how I'm going to get them in the cab of that skid steer with me.
That'll be a tight fit. Tight fit.
Whoever I pick has to
my
be a
office.
tiny person.
Make sure you know them.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
Getting into this payloader, I got a lot of looks about why is that girl in cowboy boots and a skirt going up there? But here I am. I made it.
Oh,
All good. Oh no, don't worry. This
I got
is
a
not a
feeling they
Marilyn
weren't going to
Monroe
stop
moment.
you.
Could happen.
You never know.
They could have stopped me. They could have stopped
could've.
me and been like, "Lady, what are you doing?" But anyway,
got a crazy
we're going to have
lady.
Hannah join us. We haven't even talked about our ag topics yet because I've been so excited about being at this trade show, and there's just so much more to come. So we want to make sure that folks don't go anywhere. Stick with us. You want to hear from Hannah and all the other shenanigans that Dean, Justin, and I might be talking about. We'll be right back.
Livestock is mixed with feeders and cattle higher, hogs lower. For the American Ag Network, I'm Richard Risvet with this market update. Now, the feeder cattle complex is charging with $4+ higher in nearby contracts as traders are loving the news shared by yesterday's cattle inventory report. The report had a plethora of supportive figures, but the fact that all cows under 500 pounds came in at 13.28 million head, that is extremely supportive as that's 3% less than a year ago, and demand since then has only increased for calves and feeders alike. Just like the feeder cattle complex, the live cattle market has been elated to see that positive supportive nature of yesterday's cattle inventory report as well, and has traded higher all throughout today. The excitement of yesterday's report encouraged feedlots to be bolder and to price their cattle higher. Even though packers are offering up bids in both regions, feedlot managers aren't satisfied with the prices just yet. Bids of $176 are being offered in the south and bids of $276 and $278 in the north. Both asking prices firm at $178 in the south and $280 plus in the north. The trade battle does continue. Box beef prices are lower, choice down 61 and select down 2 pennies with a movement of 50 loads. Now, the lean hog contracts, they have been in retreat mode today. Some of the deferred contracts are still trading mildly higher, but after surging to the highest prices seen in the last 4 months, traders are seeming to ease off acceleration mode in the hog complex. We'll look at the livestock numbers next year, listening to the American Ag Network.
Conservation is work worth doing here in North Dakota. The newly created Dakota Legacy Initiative makes this work easier for producers and landowners by collaborating with conservation agencies and bringing all available resources to one online location with the goal of preserving North Dakota's legacy of agriculture, conservation, and legendary land and water. Join us where collaborative conservation begins. Visit DakotaLegacyInitiative.com to learn more.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I lack a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Get the livestock numbers. Live cattle February up 237 at 179.72. April up 242 at 183.12. June up 220 at 181.07. And the August live cattle, they're up 212 at 181.05. Feeders March up 470 at 244.85. April up 432 at 250.47. Lean hogs February down 30 at 76.05. April down 140 at 83.42. And the May lean hogs, they're down 112 at 88.05. The Dow right now is up over 200 points. The dollar sits at 102.9, with crude oil trading down about a half a buck at just over $75 a barrel. For the American Ag Network, I'm Richard Ristvet.
This is Weather and Ag in Focus with Bridgette Readel, Justin Storm, and Dean Wysocki.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thank you for joining us. The guys are completely in focus in Fargo, and I am not, while I am here slightly out of focus in Orlando.
You called us focused?
It's been a great time.
You look great.
Focused.
You look great.
Focused.
You look great. Don't worry
Thanks.
about it.
It's not even the drink tickets talking. Those will be later.
How was that last night?
It was great. I had supper, compliments of a sponsor at SeaWorld, sitting in the restaurant next to the Shark Tank. So There ain't nothing like having a steak when you see Jaws coming up on you nose to nose through the glass, let me tell you.
Now, if you would have had Shark next to the Shark Tank, that would be even better.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
I think that would have
defeated the purpose of the whole convention.
Seems like it would have been rude.
Yeah. Hey, that was my brother.
I learned a lot about fish biology last night by asking a number of questions. I think every vet in the world would be highly embarrassed to hang out with me in a situation like that. But
especially after a few drink tickets.
Someone learned shark anatomy.
Oh my God!
Don't play baby shark. Now let's go to our guest.
Yeah, please don't. No.
All right. So Hannah Peterson, she is with North Dakota State University, and she is a big part of the Stop the Bleed program. Hannah, thank you for listening to all of our shenanigans over here. How are you today? Oh, wait. We need to hear her. There she is. Say that again.
I'm good. It sounds like you guys are having a good time too over there.
We try to.
Mine is better.
Yeah.
Mine's better. Just saying. All right, Hannah, tell us about yourself and what do you do for North Dakota State University?
Yeah, I am in Wells County, North Dakota. I actually work in Fessenden for the Wells County Extension Department, but that also works hand in hand with NDSU Extension. And I work for agriculture and natural resources here, so we kind of are a great free resource to help out our producers, answer questions, do some research-based organizations, and then we also work with our 4-H programs that are youth-related. If you ever hear of your county fair and stuff, that's a huge part of our 4-H stuff that we have here.
You know, before we dive into that Stop the Bleed program, which is our primary focus today, you mentioned some of the programming that you're doing. What are your biggest focuses going on at this time of the year? What are things that folks are coming in the door to your office and saying, Hannah, here's my question, or where I need help?
So the biggest thing at the moment here is definitely our pesticide trainings. January, February, March, that's usually the time of year that people need to get recertified, and they have questions on what they need to do for that. We actually had 2 people come in and test today, so that's definitely the main focus right now.
There's a lot to get ready before we get to spring and summer 2024, which is going to be here sooner than we expect because Dean and Justin think it'll be here like next week, apparently.
It's here right now.
So, Hannah, are you from Wells County? Is that your background as well?
I'm actually from Mandan, North Dakota. Morton County is my place of home. And I actually have family that farm and ranch in Velva, North Dakota. And so I just kind of moved here because the position was open when I graduated from NDSU in Fargo. And it sounded like fun, and I actually am enjoying the rural communities, and I enjoy the job. It's very rewarding.
Hannah wasn't silly. She said, look, a job with a paycheck. Yeah. All right, Hannah. So let's talk about the Stop the Bleed program. How did this come around? What's the background and history as to why this has become such an important focus?
Yeah, so, rural injuries are unfortunately going to happen. And seconds matter in these rural injuries because of the time it takes for our responders to travel to an injured person, especially rural injuries and especially with farmers. Knowing where our farmers are working, there's a lot of different things you need to consider about when you're traveling from a station to an incident. First of all, in our rural communities, we have trouble with volunteers. So, struggle recruiting new volunteers, struggle with staffing shifts, and especially where I am in Wells County, we have volunteer EMTs. Um, and then also how far our volunteers are from the bay, from the ambulance bay in the event of an emergency. We also consider the distance to the station to an incident. How large is the county? Wells County is a particularly bigger county in North Dakota. So that also takes into the time that we're looking at from incident to actual help. Of course, the incident location, knowing where our farmers are actually going. They'll be out in a field or in a pasture, and then also take into account that weather that we have in North Dakota, which you really never know what's going to go on. So it could be snowing or raining, muddy. You never know how you're going to get to that location and what you need to be prepared for. And then the big one is distance from the incident to the hospital, especially if they need level 1 trauma care. In North Dakota, for our case, the only level 1 trauma care in North Dakota is Fargo. And then you have your level 2s and level 4s varied throughout the state. But they are few and far in between when it comes to our rural accidents. And so Stop the Bleed is to help reduce these injuries or reduce these deaths caused by these unintentional injuries. And NDSU Extension and the NDSU School of Nursing partnered up to offer this free Stop the Bleed training for residents of the rural communities across North Dakota. So our nursing facility staff will travel to North Dakota counties. I actually held one in December this year at our winter show, and they worked with our NDSU Extension agents, myself, to conduct that training. It's a 90-minute training with a certification program, and it provides this hands-on opportunity to recognize these life-threatening bleeding and effective properly using a tourniquet in the event of blood loss, because blood loss can be unfortunately for a victim, they can lose that in a matter of 3 to 5 minutes. So it's important that we are able to stop these injuries before that help can get there, especially in these rural communities.
And Hannah, I mean, it's very important. And not only what other training do you provide outside of the tourniquet? I'm sure pressure points as well. If somebody is bleeding, if there's certain pressure points to use, do you include CPR in that as well?
So Stop the Bleed doesn't include the CPR training, but they do have extended trainings where you can add on to that. In my particular program, it was only a 90-minute training, so I'm assuming the CPR would be a little bit more extensive.
Yeah. Okay.
So as we talk about these types of trainings as well, Hannah, what do you think about in terms of statistics? You talked about response times and so forth. Do we have any way to track the metrics of how long it does take in some of our rural areas, or maybe if we could have cut off X amount of minutes, what a difference that could have made in someone's injury? Is there anything like that we can use to help compel people to want to be a part of more of these types of trainings?
Yeah, we actually do. There is a map out there that shows the estimated ambulance response times in North Dakota. And so just comparing Wells County here, we have 3 volunteer EMT locations. One actually isn't volunteer, it's in Harvey. And right outside of Harvey, there's a 0 to 5 minute response time. And that's basically if you're in the city limits. After that, it goes into a 5 to 15 minute response time. And then a large portion of our county is actually in the 15 to 30 minute range. Granted, this is a great map for using these statistics. It actually doesn't take into account our shoot times that an ambulance service has to get to their vehicle, go into the direction of that emergency, not taking into account weather. It's just the direction of the incident. So it does give us a time, and where Wells County is 15 to 30 minutes, you probably actually want to add about another 15, 20 minutes onto that when considering these rural incidents.
Okay, those are big pieces of information. And one of the things I wanted to make sure to ask you about when we come back from our bottom of the hour news is about who should take these trainings and how they can find this useful on their agribusiness, farm, etc. So don't go anywhere. Hannah Nelson, we want to talk about those things in just a few moments.
When it comes to putting an honest day's work, you need the right gear. That's where Red Wing Shoes steps in. Trusted by the toughest, worn by the best. Hi, Teresa here from the Fargo Red Wing Shoe Store. We're more than footwear. We're committed to quality, durability, and comfort for your feet. Whether you're in the field, on a job site, or out on the town, Red Wing Shoes has a perfect fit for you. Red Wing Shoes, where hard work meets the perfect pair. Because a job worth doing is a job worth doing right. 3003 Main Avenue in Fargo. Red Wing Shoes for ultimate durability.
Good afternoon, I'm Tom Tucker, WDAY News First. A second candidate is entering the race for Fargo City Commission. Anna Johnson, a member of the Fargo Arts and Culture Commission, says she would focus on the city budget and work to build Fargo's workforce and economy. Fargo entrepreneur Delson Saintal has also announced his candidacy. He wants to focus on workforce development, public safety, and accessibility. Current city commissioners John Strand and Arlette Preston are up for re-election on June 11th. West Fargo City Commission candidate John Severson says if elected, he will work to eliminate special assessments.
There's other cities in the state that don't use specials. They don't. I believe Minot. I don't think they charge specials. I think there's got to be a way of funding projects that doesn't always continually lay it on the property owners.
A Beltrami County farmer is suing the state of Minnesota for discrimination after he was denied a grant. Lance Nisler has filed a federal lawsuit against the governor and the commissioner of the Department of Agriculture. Nisler claims that he was denied a grant to help him buy his farm because he is white. He claims the program he applied for gives preference to minorities, women, the disabled, veterans, and other groups, violating his civil rights. Tom Tucker, WDAY, and WDAYRadioNow.com.
They'll have you laughing right along with them. They're Bonnie and Friends.
When I was a kid, we had a mama cat named Bandit, and she was like a tuxedo-looking cat. And she would have, when she got old enough, she would have 2 batches of kittens every year. So she got around a little bit. So
his cat was on the prowl.
Yeah. She lived in the garage, but she got out.
She got out of the garage.
She didn't live in the house because Dad was allergic to cats. So
she went catting around.
Bonnie and Friends. Catch them weekday mornings beginning at 5.
This is a shout out to all hardworking farmers and ranchers. If you're looking for the cream of the crop in post-frame construction, look no further than Thor Buildings. Because let's face it, having the right size building for your equipment or livestock is crucial for your success. At Thor Buildings, they'll design your building for max efficiency, customized to tackle the seasonal weather in your neck of the woods. Post-frame construction tailored to your livestock and ag needs. Buildings built better, stronger, and built to last. So when it's time to put the hammer down, build with Thor. Visit ThorBuildings.com today.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
And welcome back. Thank you for sticking with us this afternoon. We have so much more to talk about with our guest today. And Hannah, I think I said the wrong name for you earlier. It's Hannah Peterson with North Dakota State Extension. I apologize to Hannah Nelson, my neighbor, who may have thought I was introducing her.
I'm not on the show today.
Oh, how'd that happen? Well, nonetheless, Hannah, one of the questions I wanted to ask you today was, who should be taking this Stop the Bleed training? When you think about that in the rural communities, where can this be most effective?
Yeah, so ideally, our rural communities is the most important. Definitely our farmers and ranchers, people that are out there doing dangerous work. Agriculture is actually listed as one of the most dangerous works in the world. So definitely they should be there helping out. And if you come to the training, you actually get to have a kit to take home with you. And so the second important step is actually engaging that kit with those people that you work with. Definitely when you're working with in your rural communities, it might just be your son or just a helping hand out there. And so actually teaching them what you learned. So even if you can't all attend that training, if at least one of you could attend that training, get that kit, you can come home and you can teach that training. It's really important for that follow through afterwards.
So you said, Hannah, that you can, once you get certified, so once you're certified, then you can teach, you can teach other people and get them certified as well? Did I hear that right?
So you can actually get them certified unless you have the proper requirements. So we actually did have a volunteer EMT at one of our trainings there, and she got credits for that so that she could become a trainer.
Okay.
But it is just important if you are at home, it's going to be there. You want people to know how to use those tourniquets if that emergency does come out.
Well, I think about instances where you're working on a farm operation and you have a number of people throughout spring to spring planting all the way through harvest. And this could be a situation where you could certainly have multiple people involved to know what's going on. But it begs the question in my mind, what about high school students? Is that too young to go through a Stop the Bleed training in order to be effective in their communities? Or what do you think, Hannah?
Absolutely not. You can have anyone of any age take this training, and it's probably especially critical for our high school students. There just are a lot of unfortunate injuries out there that do happen, and a lot of these people do work with their sons and their daughters out on the farm. So they are the younger generation that needs to be able to be there to help in case of an emergency.
And with any luck, they would be the ones who are closest to this type of thing because, as you said, response times can be so delayed. I might be a volunteer in my local fire department or ambulance squad, but I have to travel 10 or 12 miles just to get to the ambulance or the fire truck before I can even go help the other person. So I can see where these would be pretty effective.
And Hannah,
absolutely.
Hannah, have you seen an decrease in people signing up for this?
I actually don't know that data. This is our first year that we've held the Stop the Bleed training with the NDSU nursing program. I believe we've held around 10 to 15 trainings at this point, and we have about 8 trainings left throughout North Dakota. But this is something new that we want to put on, that our Farm and Ranch Safety Coordinator at NDSU Extension actually helped put this on. And so we eventually want to take this more often. We want people to be able to take these trainings as need, and so that we become trained and so that they can be trained as well.
Hannah, earlier in our last segment, you were talking about the different levels of trauma and that Fargo being, I can't remember if you said it was the only or if it was the closest level 1 trauma center in North Dakota or just to maybe your county. But I was wondering if you happen to know what those different levels of trauma were and what separates or categorizes them from a level 4 to a level 1 trauma, just so general people kind of have an idea of what that looks like.
Yep, so Fargo is actually the only level 1 trauma center in all of North Dakota. Minneapolis is our next closest level 1 trauma center, so not a whole lot of, or not quite a bit of miles there. So yeah, if they do go to hospitals, yes. If they need that level 1 trauma care, it means that the victim is extremely hurt and needs more specialized care, more equipment, different surgeries, etc. And then a level 2 hospital can provide less than that. We're talking about like the most hurt patients can go to the level 1, but North Dakota pretty much has level 5 trauma cares. So there's level 1s, level 2s are in our Minot and Bismarck areas, and then level 3, there's a few in there's one in Dickinson and Jamestown, I believe. But then level 1 or level 5s is where a majority of our rural incident areas are going to have to be.
I see.
Now, Hannah, if I'm an agribusiness, let's say in Wells County in particular, I think of some of your local elevators and larger agronomy centers, et cetera. They're working with heavy specialized equipment. They have people on the road, whether they're trucking grain, driving sprayers. You have folks who are working in the pits of the elevator when they're cleaning things out, or they're around augers, et cetera. Would you suggest that perhaps a Stop the Bleed training, just as an on-site training for some of those agribusinesses in your region, would be a good idea?
Absolutely. I would 100% recommend that. We want to make sure that our volunteer EMTs are trained, but of course, we want to work on helping out businesses and providing that service. It also doesn't hurt to mention that it is completely free. So it just kind of seems like, why not? You can have up to 10 to 12 people per trainer, so we can even have more than that if there's more trainers. And then you also get those personal bleed kits that are provided if you come to that training.
I don't remember if you had mentioned this earlier in our other segment either, but do you do any reaching out or partnership with some of the universities up here or high school level when it comes to maybe FFA, to where you guys are able to come into the classroom, and even if it's not a full training session, able to do some form of introduction? Here are some basic things as a part of your class. We can teach you a few simple things that could, one, help someone's injury, but two, also possibly either save their life or extend that window between life and death so they can get to a hospital sooner and be able to save their life potentially.
Yeah, we have not brought it into the schools here yet, but Stop the Bleed was actually created because of school shootings. So Stop the Bleed was actually from that, and NDSU Extension kind of took that and made it for our rural communities. Because of the school shootings, they have that response time where people can't get in to help those who might be bleeding out. And so that's kind of how the program became. Right now, our NDSU Extension is just kind of doing helping out whoever wants to be trained. But I could definitely see us taking it into schools and classrooms, especially connecting with our FFA leaders and then as well as our 4-H members.
Yeah, I think that could be a big opportunity, even if it's just, coming in for a half hour and just running down some basics. Start with the youth, and then they spread it out to everyone else. They're the next generation getting out there.
I also see that as a recruiting tool because, as Hannah mentioned earlier, it's hard to find enough people to go around because we all do a lot in our rural communities. And it's hard to find enough people to staff fire departments and ambulance squads, especially because they are indeed volunteer. And so by using the youth in the schools, and Hannah, let me know if this is right or wrong, but this is probably a recruitment tool to see if you have kids who are interested in wanting to be first responders, ambulance drivers, firefighters, that type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the youth, the next generation, they definitely are hardworking and willing to do that. And I just like to give North Dakota a big pat on the back because I really, truly believe our youth are going in that right direction where they do want to volunteer and be there for their communities, especially those who maybe come over and take home on the farm. They kind of have maybe a little bit more flexibility to do that volunteer work with their community. But yeah, I definitely think it's a right program for the younger generation.
I couldn't agree more. I think just getting everybody involved in any way possible is really helpful. And frankly, growing up, we were always told tourniquets were bad. Hannah's telling me maybe it's not a bad thing to know how to use them successfully. So I hope that's indeed the case, that I would come out of this doing a little bit better.
Here's a question that just came to my mind, Bridgette. Why was that? What were they saying was bad about a tourniquet? Or why was that not right?
I think it was simply because so many people didn't know how to do it right that it actually wound up causing more harm than good in some instances. And so the fact that Hannah's willing to help train people to be more careful and realize how to do it, that's probably a step in the right direction that we just didn't have at the time. And things change, right? Because you guys mentioned CPR training earlier. We don't train people for CPR the same way we once did. Now you're told to follow the Bee Gees song, Staying Alive. That's how you plan your timed chest compressions, but also you don't have to worry about the breathing portion anymore. And I think I failed CPR because I could never keep the chest pumps and the breathing timing right. So now thanks for simplifying that. I'm much better at it.
Well, thanks. Now I got the Bee Gees song stuck in my head.
I have that scene from The Office stuck in my head.
Good, because I kind of had that whole Baby Shark thing in my head. So now we're all into trouble.
Man, we're all off topic now. All right. Well, Hannah, when again are these events coming up, and where can people get more information if they want to partake in this kind of training?
Yeah, well, actually this morning we held 2 in McHenry County, but coming up in February 7th, we'll have 2 in Mercer County. February 15th, we'll have 2 in Cass County. And then March 6th and 7th, we'll have those in Barnes County.
All right. And when were those Cass County ones again?
February 15th, 1 at 10 a.m. and 1 at 1 p.m.
Awesome. And if someone doesn't remember that, or they want to get a better idea for their individual county, where can they go to find out when those programs are going to be happening and where?
Yep. The easiest part to do that would just be looking up NDSU extension Stop the Bleed, and that'll take you right to that website there, and it'll have our registration links for you to register in your county or whatever one you choose. And then it'll be kind of on a first come first basis.
I see. And we got a caller here real quick. I'll just take them cold off the bat. But hi there, caller. What's your name? Do you got a question for Hannah? Caller,
no,
you there?
Sorry. Yeah, this is Margie Bailey. I was trying to get a hold of Jay Thomas's show. So I must have the wrong number.
No, it's the right number. His show starts here in about 20 minutes. So call back then, all right?
Well, no, what I'd like to, are you his scheduler?
No, but I can throw you on hold and we can get someone to answer your question for you. All right. Hannah, any last thing you want to say about Stop the Bleed, the program, the website, anything here before we head to commercial that might be important for people to know one last time?
I just really hope people take into consideration how important this is. It's just important to become involved because this is a life-saving help before professional medical help arrives. So it's a great program. It's definitely worth it, and we hope to see you guys at this training soon.
Awesome. Well, appreciate it, Hannah. Thanks very much for coming up here on Weather and Ag in Focus. Really appreciate your time to share a little bit of information about this important program.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Not a problem at all. When we come back, we still got a few ag topics, a couple you're going to want to hear about, and as well a rundown on that forecast. All of that and more coming up when we return.
Thanks for making WDAY Radio your new number one with the news that matters to you.
I'm Tom Tucker, WDAY Radio News.
Accurate weather forecasts.
Today we're going to go down in the record book, calling for a high of 50.
And personalities that you can call friends.
Tony! That would not be a good thing. No.
We're proud to serve the Fargo-Moorhead Metro and the region beyond. AM 970 and 93.1. We are WDAY Radio.
This Giving Hearts Day, donate to Fraser. Fraser is the longest-serving nonprofit organization in North Dakota and continues to meet the needs of children, youth, and adults in Fargo and surrounding areas. Fraser has grown significantly to include independent living support, residential and day support services for people with disabilities. This year's donations will be matched up to $125,000. There's no need to wait until Giving Hearts Day. Go to givingheartsday.org and select Fraser to give your donation today. Fraser, helping children, youth, and adults since 1893.
As Giving Hearts Day grows each year, the reason for the day remains the same. Support and celebrate the charities in our communities. Between now and February 8th, head to givingheartsday.org to make a financial gift to one of 600 charities, find a drop-off site for the Giving Hearts Day food drive, or find volunteer opportunities. Head to givingheartsday.org to give your way today.
At Chihinkapa Zoo, daily tasks are done with love and tenderness. Zoo work is hard work. It is more than a job. Looking into the eyes of precious wildlife is a reward. Conservation is our mission. Zookeepers care deeply for the beautiful animals in their charge. Chihinkaka Zoo staff and volunteers understand the stories behind these exceptional faces. Compassion, emotion, and empathy. Chihinkaka Zoo animals receive excellent care because of human devotion, dedication, and you. Giving Hearts Day.
Discover hassle-free automotive excellence at Vision Lincoln in Wahpeton, North Dakota. Hi, I'm Ward Cater. Enjoy free pickup and delivery, doorstep test drives, online transactions, and a hassle-free sales experience. Unbeatable Lincoln quality awaits at visionlincoln.com. Your journey begins with Ward Cater at Vision Lincoln. Visit us online for more information at visionlincoln.com. Elevate your journey with Vision Lincoln.
Looking for a rewarding career in healthcare with excellent benefits? Help enrich the lives of the men and women who served our country by joining the North Dakota Veterans Home family. Whether you're a registered nurse, certified nurse's assistant, medication technician, or have a background in administration or maintenance, visit ndvh.nd.gov to learn more about career opportunities today.
Sponsored by the North Dakota Cares Coalition in cooperation with the North Dakota Broadcasters Association and this station.
Valentine's Day is here. This year, give the ultimate gift. Name a star after your sweetheart. This is Rocky Moselle with International Star Registry. For 45 years, we've named millions of stars for celebrities, dignitaries, and individuals worldwide. For $59 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit starregistry.com, you can give the most memorable gift. The star your name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Visit starregistry.com or call 800-282-3333.
This is Weather and Ag in Focus with Bridgette Readel, Justin Storm, and Dean Wysocki.
And now we'll sit in silence.
We're back. Welcome back. 1:51 in the afternoon to Weather and Ag in Focus. And
Bridgette, guess that sound. No, it's not a squirrel.
Sounds like a.
They're around our area,
talking.
though.
Alvin and the Chipmunks.
You're close. No. 4 legs in trees. Eats wood. Really prickly. Just dogs hate
Porcupine.
these. Yes.
Yep.
I don't know how you guys have this much time to do the weather and find unique sounds every day.
That's what happens when you leave us by ourselves.
That's Sterling at the dinner table when Justin has amphetamine time.
More.
Oh man.
Okay.
We've
had more emails and more questions from people. So to answer a couple of them, there was an email from John asking about like a Stop the Bleed clotting powder that does exist. I know that you can get it in small doses. In fact, have used it for kids with nosebleeds in the past.
That doesn't
I'm
take
sure
the
that's
place.
helpful.
That doesn't take the place of like a tourniquet or anything. It's just a temporary.
Yeah,
Not
if
the
you've
road
got
I
a
thought you were
major
gonna take.
bleed going on, I'd want more than a powder.
Yeah.
And then secondly, I had a message from someone asking if there is a way to look at this payloader in North Dakota. And the gentleman here in the booth tell me that they just signed a new dealer, Agassiz Sales, up in Buxton. So if you're looking to see this payloader I'm spending quality time in, you can have a chance to swing up to Buxton, take a little look, see yourself.
Good for them. I drive past their place almost every day when there's not fog.
So this.
No.
Look at us. We're answering questions for people all over the place.
Dang, I was hoping Dean was going to bite on that.
No,
you just gotta let it sit there.
Not touching it.
Come on.
Well, you drive worse.
Here we go.
Than a 90-year-old
nibbling
invalid.
Do I got a hook, line, sinker yet?
With cataracts.
Oh, we're going a little far here now.
Hey, let's not make fun of people's health care. Justin's just cautious.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Hey, boss, can't make it to work. It's a little foggy up here.
There it is.
Well, how about you leave?
Got him.
How about you leave early and take a little extra time? That's what we used to do back in the day. We went to school. We walked barefoot uphill both ways in 10 to 20 below. Oh, it's foggy. I can't make it to work.
How many fingers do you still have? 8? 9? You got 9.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Do you know why I would never take the two of you fishing? Because the fishtails would be huge, and then I would be confined to a small space with the both of you for an extended period of time.
Hi there, caller. What's your name? Hello?
Do we have a caller?
Someone called. Someone's
Not anymore.
getting hung up on.
All right, 3, 2, 1, and goodbye. All right.
Sorry. I guess the board wasn't live. Try again. I'm sorry. That's all right, Jake. No worries. We got plenty of time for him to call back. In the meantime, we still got some ag topics that we need to get to.
We can.
And which one should we start off with? Should we start off with the old livestock transport and cold temperatures? Let's find out about that. What are things we should know?
Usually we'd be worried about cold temperatures, right? Because, Justin, on those occasional days where you drive down the interstate, you may see great big trailers that have all of the venting on them because they're transporting hogs, cattle, etc. But when we're in this type of a weather, we're not necessarily quite so worried about frostbite as we normally would. A year ago, when our temperatures were so cold, you often saw those vents being closed up because there's something called livestock critical temperature, and you don't want to get the wind is probably the biggest deal. You have to take into consideration the type of animal. Do they have a thicker hide or hair? So for instance, you're not going to want to take a bunch of recently shorn sheep because they would get a little bit cold on that type of a drive. You factor in the fact that it might be damp or wet, and so the temperature also is very crucial. We're not thinking about it as much right now, but normally at this time of year, we'd be making sure that we're providing plenty of water, high energy food, and we're probably blocking the wind in those trailers to prevent those animals from being uncomfortable, weight loss, and so forth. So just a couple of things that are a little different in February 2024 than what we've had in the past.
Oh, I see.
We'll take on that.
And it looks like that person I hung up on, or maybe the person I hung up on, might have been Eric, had a question on how much a metric ton weighs.
That's a joke, Justin. That's a joke. Man.
Oh, okay.
Can we do weather?
Go for it, dude.
All right.
Uh-huh.
You want? All right, we'll just
cold.
No sounder.
Cold.
Okay. All right. We've got temperatures. We've already set a record today here in the Fargo area at 40. Last check was 46. Our old record was 45. So yes, we're going to go down in the record books one more time. Might as well, right? As long as we're this warm. And we'll continue to have highs in the 40s today, down into the mid to upper 20s tonight. Could see a little patchy fog develop. And then more clouds around on Friday, mixed in with a little bit of sun. Low 40s, and we're low to mid 40s all weekend long. And it looks like by next Tuesday, as that next LRC storm approaches, we'll be on the warm side of that on Tuesday with temperatures close to 50. Unbelievable. And then as that system approaches later next week, it'll more than likely start off as rain, and then we'll see how much snow we can squeeze out of that. Again, this is the same system that cycled through back in December, right around the Christmas time, and that gave us a lot of rain. Now, a little colder on the backside of this system this time to prevent widespread freezing rain. At least that's the way it looks now. And then colder weather will follow that. So the middle of the month and onward looks to be much different than the start of the month. So just kind of keep that in the back of your head. Enjoy this while it's here. We got about another week of it before things start to change quite a bit. So not bad. I mean, this isn't good for everybody, but I think the majority of us like the warmer than normal temperatures.
Indeed.
We're going to take them, and we're going to enjoy them. And you're also going to enjoy the Jay Thomas Show coming up next, because he starts in about 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere.